Hey everyone, my name is Saf. You are watching Grey on Tech TV, and we are back with another video on Appian UI UX development series. So, lastly, we have seen alert banners and how we can dynamically toggle them using buttons, and you can implement them in your own project or POC scenarios. Now, I have a special pattern called breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are often seen in, GitLab or any kind of sophisticated software where you are having nested navigations, for example, SharePoint, etc. So breadcrumbs are nothing but navigations. It's like a pattern which is helping you to give you a breadcrumb style navigation. Even in the documentation here, it's mentioned that breadcrumbs are useful for showing users their location within an organizational hierarchy. So breadcrumbs can be implemented in your screen, in your complete user input scenario, depending upon how you are implementing it. So the identifier will be depending. So here it's like at the top, a local variable is used to define the breadcrumb nodes, and this will be replaced with a rule. So I'll show you the exact example how we can understand it. So let's drop the breadcrumb here itself. Let's dive into the code directly. I'll collapse the previous section layout coming from the previous lecture. So if we see, we are having local variables. Because it is a pattern, we are getting it as a bundle of code wrapped in a local variables, A-bang local variables. But if you want to really adopt it in your own code and you have already local variables defined, I recommend you to declare them globally on the top and use them without wrapping in a child local variables function. We'd start with the definition of current node ID, that is 4. And even in the comment, it is mentioned for the pattern that this variable would normally be retrieved with a rule like get breadcrumbs for identifier, local bank current node ID. So basically, when you will apply this scenario of, you know, moving ahead with nodes, like moving ahead with nodes means, let's suppose you are having a interface where you are moving ahead with hierarchy by any user selection. So let's suppose there are 4 buttons. One is approve and reject, and the next is save and cancel. So when you click on approve, so if you are in a particular process, you can add another node called approval screen, and the approval screen will pop up. Similarly, if you click on reject, it will go back and save and cancel. So depending upon your scenario, you can implement the breadcrumbs. And here we can see that local bank nodes. In local bank nodes, you can see that it is nothing but a list of maps which is having name and identifier. Name is nothing but the name of the breadcrumb heading, and identifier is how we are able to identify them by numbers uniquely. The current node ID is matched with identifier. So first the identifiers are looped to produce the breadcrumb list. Second, the identifiers are matched according to the current node ID so that the selection can be visible. So if we understood uh, local bank current node ID and local bank nodes, it will be far easier for us to understand the rest of the pieces of code. So here we can see that we are having rich text display field. The whole is the whole like breadcrumb is nothing but a rich text display field. Inside that we are having a loop which is iterating through the list called local bank nodes. Inside that we are having if FV bank is last, then it will be strong, else it is this. So FV bang annotation is popularly available in looping, and we can have different annotations. For example, FE bang is first, is last, or FE bang item, item count, identifier. So if you put FE bang is first, so the first item will be strong. The rest item will be like non-bolded. So it depends on your scenario that you want, what you want to implement. So here, if you do FE bang is last, then the heading will FE bang item dot name and strong. That means the last item. Else, the whole code of a bang rich text item where we are popping up the FE bang item name, that is name of the whole node list. And in the link, we are having a bang dynamic link value, FE bang item identifier, and save into current node ID. Means here you can see that FE bang item identifier will be saved into current node ID. So if I click at 3, so 3 will be saved at current node ID, right? And if you see here, on the rich text, we are having a forward slash. So for every item, we are having a forward slash. And the moment it is last, then it is strong. So it will, this code, this block of code will be executed till second last item in the list. And for the last item, this will be executed. So if FE bang is last, then this will execute, else that will execute. Now, here I hope you understood. Next, if you see here, if I click on this, because I clicked on this, so the dynamic link will save local bank current node ID as 3. If I click on this, local bank current node ID will become 3. Still strategy. So here you can see that what is the link value? A bank dynamic link value will be FE bank item dot identifier, whatever ID it belongs to, and save into current node ID. Now the thing is, we can see that we are having current node ID declared here, and the loop in the list will enumerate from current node ID plus 1. So if your current node ID is 3, so I'll show you local bank test, and here we can see that how it is enumerating. So instead of local bank current node ID plus 1, what I'll do? I'll do 4 plus 1. So if you do enumerate 4 plus 1, what will happen? First, the enumerate function will be rendered. So here you can see, and first the enumerate function will be rendered. If I remove this one, you'll understand that enumerate 4 will go till 0, 1, 2, 3. Now because enumerate starts with 0, that's why we are adding 1 at the end, right? So it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's simple. If you want to enumerate a variable with starting number 1, then you have to append or add 1 at the end in the logic so that it starts from 1. So if I do enumerate 33, so it will start from 1 till 33, right? So list of number integer 1 till 33. What we are doing here, coming back to the logic, here we can see that the current node ID is 4. And what we are doing, we are enumerating local bank current node ID plus 1. What we are doing, the enumerate will return 0, 1, 2, 3, and now we are adding it as 1. So for what we are doing, we are enumerate the whole item logic will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So if the current node ID is 4, so the nodes will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will be looping 4 times. Next, if the current node ID becomes 2, so the nodes will be 2 only. Why? Here you can see enumerate and expression choose FV bang item depending upon the map. Like we are having a key that is a particular logic for enumerate, and for FE bang item we are having the four choices depending upon depending upon the current node ID, how we are iterating with loop. So starting fresh, here you can see right now the current node ID is 4. If you click on dynamic link, current node ID will become 3 and the fourth element will be lapsed. If you click on the previous dynamic link, the second item will be lapsed. If you click on first item, then the only one item will be visible, that is current node ID. So how we will be implementing this in our project scenario? So what we will do, instead of current node ID, what you can do, you can have a like global local variable defined at the topmost part of your interface. And you can have child interface calls where you are updating the current node ID from the child. And based upon the input actions, you can put the buttons also globally where the current node ID is navigating through the button actions back and forth. And through that, with the parent-child relationship of interfaces, you can implement this breadcrumb style of navigation. So if you really like my implementation, drop a subscribe and like the video. This is my good fuel of motivation, and I'll be bringing up more videos. So keep learning.